Hello there, adventurers, and welcome to Wally DM. Today's puzzle is pretty much directly from a video game by the title Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now, I'm a big Resident Evil fan, and this is probably my second favorite title of all time. Just a really great game for the PlayStation 2, chock full of action and some really great puzzle solving. Now, there's one in particular. And this video is pretty much going to take it directly from the game and put it onto our playmat so we can include it in our D&D Pathfinder game. And that was a room where there was the Ashford family lineage, and there's 7 paintings in there. And in the game, you had to go through and you had to press the button below each painting, but you had to do it in chronological order. So it's pretty much going to be what this puzzle is going to be. And I've tweaked it a little bit, just to make it run a little bit smoother in a Dungeons and Dragons like adventure game or role-playing game. But before we get started on the puzzle, I did put a little bit of backstory to it. In fact, I even have a letter here. This is pretty much the same letter that you're going to find in Resident Evil, but I tweaked it just a little bit to fill my campaign and my gaming session. There's also in the show notes below, along with the letter, you can actually I put the paintings in a PDF file, so you can download that and you can print those out as well. And in fact, if you want to do take a look at all that stuff before we even get started, maybe have them up on the screen or print them out in advance so you can follow along. It might help a little bit. But anyway, I put a little bit of a background to this puzzle, so just real quick, let me go over it. My players have entered the village of Murkwell, and this village is very dark and very evil. But they do find their way to the castle, and a young baron or a young ruler named Lord Weasley. And he couldn't be more than 12, 13 years old. His father, Lord Percy, had been the baron for about 30-some years, and rumors will lead the players or the characters to find out that this used to be a very just a fantastic town, a fantastic little village. That it was glorious, it was prosperous, and then something happened during Lord Percy's reign that brought it down to dark and evil. But regardless, Lord Percy had disappeared, and Lord Weasley had recently become Baron of this village. And he invites the players in. He can kind of tell that they are they're good, or at least neutral, and maybe they can help him and stuff. To get to the point, the players end up staying the night in the castle, and maybe a piece of information they're looking for, or a key, or something like that, is they find out that it's locked up in the Murkwell family shrine, which includes paintings of the Murkwell lineage, of all of Lord Weasley's, his father, his grandfather, his ancestors. So the party finds themselves wanting to get into this shrine with all the paintings, and they have to solve the puzzle. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. This is the Murkwell Family Portraits. Let's begin by going over the general layout and the contents of the room. Now, assuming the adventuring party will be trying to enter through this door, there's a great chance that this door is going to be locked, and the thief may need to pick a lock, or they may need to find a key somewhere else throughout the dungeon, or maybe even try to break it down. Regardless, a failed attempt to pick the lock or trying to break the door down will sound an alarm, and I'm just thinking maybe just some really loud bells that go through the hallway. So the players or the characters want to be very careful not to set off the alarm. But let's say they pick the lock, or they have found the key and get into this room successfully. What they're going to find is it is split into 2 areas. It's set up very similar to Resident Evil Code Veronica, but I've made a couple tweaks just to make it match my campaign. And again, as a DM or GM, I highly encourage you to alter the contents or the shape of the room to best fit what you have planned. But regardless, two separate areas. They enter on this area, and this is a very red velvet carpet, very nice, very well kept area up here. And we have our first painting. This is our main painting, and this will be of the new Baron of Murkwell, Lord Weasley, and that's a painting of him as a kid. And I will show you that picture here in just a little bit. But to the left of his painting, we have a green button and a red button. Now these are not drawn to scale, and we'll come right back to this and let you know what those do here in just a second. But to finish going over the general layout of the room, from this velvet carpet area, there's some carpeted stairs that go down, maybe about a 4 or 5 foot drop. And then we have a stone floor or wooden floor. Doesn't really matter as long as the party members know that it's very extravagant. Maybe a marble floor. Now in this second half, in the lower half of the room here, we have two wooden tables. We have a wooden table right here and a wooden table down here. And this one here is actually a glass showcase, and we'll get over to what's in here in just a little bit. But we have a wooden table here, and it has two items on top of it. Two very important items. The first is our letter, which is the key to the players solving the puzzle. And our second is a candelabra with 4 candles on it. And that will also have some useful information as far as how to solve the puzzle. And again, we'll come back to those in just a little bit. Along the west wall and the east wall, we have our other pieces of the puzzle. We have 3 paintings on this side, 3 paintings on this side, and these are on the wall. And directly below each painting is a button. So we have a small black button, very similar to the green and red one, but these are black. And there's one directly below each painting, and we'll come back to those in just a little bit. Our final items of interest, again, this is a glass showcase, so it's very extravagant, very well made, and just a very nice piece of furniture. And it is displaying a bunch of family heirlooms, but very importantly, we have 3 teacups, a plate, and a vase. And we'll come back to all that in just a little bit as well. So our party members are in the room. First things first, if they see this green button and they press it, an alarm will sound. The only way to stop the alarm is to press the red button. Now in my gaming sessions, anytime the alarm goes off, I'm going to send 2 or 3 guards down the hallway to see what the heck's going on. So the party is either going to have to hide, or they're going to be into combat. And every round that they're in combat, they have more of an opportunity to attract more guards. Very important for the party not to sound the alarm. Again, so far we can sound the alarm by a failed pick lock attempt on the door, busting down the door, or without solving the puzzle correctly, pressing this green button. Now, to turn off the alarm in any manner or fashion, all they have to do is press this red button. This is the reset switch. Now, these buttons down here below the paintings, once they're pressed in, they're stuck. They cannot be pulled back out. They cannot be reset. The only way to get these buttons to pop back out is by coming back up here and pressing the red button. So now that we've gone over the actual layout and the functionality of the room, what exactly is it that the players need to do to solve this puzzle? Well, quite simply, the buttons are there to be placed in a specific order, and the letter that is found on the table will give hints and clues as to what order to press those buttons in. What they need to do is start with the, I guess I should tell you what the paintings are. There are 7 paintings. The main painting along the north wall, the one by itself with the green and the red button, is a painting of Lord Weasley, the young kid that is the current ruler and Baron of Murkwell. The other 6 paintings are of his family, his father, his grandfather, and his ancestors. There are 5 men and 1 lady, and all 5 of these are the previous rulers or the previous barons of Murkwell. So what the players need to do is determine which order, starting with who the first Baron was, all the way down to the current Baron, which is Lord Weasley, and press those buttons in order, ending up with Lord Weasley and pressing the green button. If they press all the buttons, starting with the very first ruler, all the way down to Lord Weasley, in the correct order, pressing the green button, and they will solve the puzzle. So let's take a look at the letter. Lord Weasley, congratulations on your succession as Baron of Murkwell. While we still mourn the unexplained disappearance of your father, our village looks forward to your leadership in honor of your family history. Now, this is a very nice introduction to the letter, and we're making it nice and formatted. And again, this is in the notes below, so you can print this out and follow along now, or print it out later to give to your players. But it's there for you. And feel free to tweak it or change it how you see fit. But in this very first paragraph, there's nothing to do with the puzzle. It's just kind of an introduction and a little bit of storyline. So let's go on to the second paragraph. The people of Murkwell present you with a gift, as is tradition, of course. Please accept this large sapphire ring as a token of confidence and allegiance to the youngest Baron to rule our village. Now, right here, I'm going to put a picture of the painting of Lord Weasley. And as you can see, Lord Weasley has a large sapphire ring, and he is just a kid. So this is the painting of Lord Weasley. He is also the painting that needs to be pressed last, is the one with the green and the red button. And you can see a large sapphire ring. So that paragraph 2 is describing the painting of Lord Weasley. Let's continue. As you may know, this tradition first began when the settlers of our newly founded village presented a silver teacup as a commemorative gift to Veronica, your ancestor. Okay, so Lord Weasley was given a sapphire ring. The very first Baron, so you're getting the very first clue in the puzzle was Lady Veronica, and she was given a silver teacup. So a lot of so simply enough, all the players need to do is find out of the 6 paintings, there's only one of them that's a woman, and there's Veronica, and that's the first button to be pressed. And that's actually the only name that I kept out of the Resident Evil, the video games letter, because I mean you got to keep Veronica in there. So the rest of the names I've kind of changed. But so Veronica, first button to be pushed. Let's continue. The second and third rulers of Murkwell, Lord Arthur and his son Lord Fred, were also presented with similar teacups when they were anointed as ruler of our village. So we don't know which paintings are Lord Arthur or Lord Fred, but we do know that they were both given teacups. So there's 2 paintings with teacups. Okay, let's continue. It was their hope to achieve glory and prosperity as Veronica did before them, etc., etc., just a little bit of filler there. After the loss of Lord Fred to the jaws of a ferocious blue dragon, the title of Baron fell upon Fred's twin brother, Lord George. Following George's rule was Lord William, your grandfather. Ah, this is the golden age of Murkwell. So this paragraph gives us a lot of information. We have the third ruler, who was Lord Fred, had passed away, and now his twin brother, Lord George, is now was then appointed Baron. So now we're looking at the picture of the painting with twins. So that must be Lord Arthur. And in this painting, the twins have red hair. So if we look at 2 other paintings, we have 2 others where there's a man with red hair. Now, if we use information earlier about the second and third ruler receiving teacups, we can see that the red-haired man with the teacup must be Lord Fred, and the other red-haired man has the plate, so that must be Lord George. So we're not even finished with the letter yet, and the players should be able to pick out the first 4 in chronological order as far as picking their paintings and pressing the buttons. We have Lady Veronica, Lord Arthur, Lord Fred, and Lord George, and they should be able to match up their paintings. But let's continue to get the last 2. Following George's rule was Lord William, your grandfather. Ah, this was the golden age of Murkwell. It continues to say, it was also Lord William that developed our Library of Knowledge, his greatest achievement. Really not anything in the paintings. There is 2 left. There's a man reading a book and a man with a candle. Very well could be either one of them, and probably going to be the man with a book. But let's continue on to make sure that we get the final clues. However, when Lord William passed away and your father, Lord Percy, succeeded as Baron of Murkwell, our glorious village began to wither and the darkness gradually settled in. So just a little bit of insight as to what the problems of the village of Murkwell are. They're going through a really dark time, and it looks like they've always been a very happy, very prosperous, wonderful village to live in, and something happened during Lord Percy's reign as Baron of the people, and that the whole village went to shit, and all this evil and darkness has crept in, and that may have something to do with his disappearance. And again, this could go into a quest as far as DM or GM, but get a little bit off the subject. Let's get back to solving the puzzle. Okay, let's finish reading the letter. We sincerely hope that the village of Murkwell regains its glory with your guidance, just as the sapphire ring continues to shine eternally. And the letter is signed Frank Longbottom, Master Scribe, Village of Murkwell. So, the end of the letter, we got no information as to which painting might be Lord Percy, and we're kind of leaning towards the old man with the book for Lord William. Where's our last clue? Well, if the players look at the candelabra, which is just to the right of the letter, the candelabra, underneath of it says, it has a plaque that says, in memory of Baron Percy's succession. Now this should help us solve the puzzle, because there is a painting with a man standing next to a candelabra that looks exactly like the one that is on this table. So that should be Baron Percy, and if we guess that the old man with the book was Baron William or Lord William, then we were correct. So the final number 5 and number 6 button, we would press the painting with the man with the book, which is Lord William, and the 6th one would be Lord Percy, who is standing next to the candelabra, and then the players would go up and press the green button next to Lord Weasley, solving the puzzle. Now that the puzzle is solved, it is up to you as the GM or DM. Maybe a drawer opens, revealing a key or an object the party was looking for, or something of that nature. But before I do go, I just want to clarify, make sure one more time that any mess up and then hitting the green button, if any of these were pressed in the wrong order, an alarm will sound, and it will keep going off until somebody presses the red reset button. And in my campaign or my gaming session, every time the alarm goes off, I'm going to have 2 or 3 guards coming down the hall, and the players, their characters, are either going to have to hide, talk their way out of it, or maybe up for a small battle. And if they get into battle, there's a chance that they're going to draw more attention. So very important for them not to set the alarm off. And another thing too, down here in our glass showcase, we have the teacups, the vase, the plate, and a book, and a lot of the objects you see in the painting can be found in this glass showcase. And if they break this, again, the alarms are going to go off, and the players or the characters might find themselves in a little bit of trouble. So that was the Murkwell Family Portraits, and again, a puzzle taken directly from the video game Resident Evil Code Veronica. Just a great video game, and if you've played it before, then you probably remember this puzzle, or maybe you've seen it on YouTube, and you can see that it's pretty much just taken directly from the video game and put out here so we can use it for our D&D or our Pathfinder campaign. So that's the puzzle. That's all I have for you. I'm running over 20 minutes, so I'm going to get going. What'd you think of it? Is it something that you could use? And is there anything that you would do different? And if you've used it already, how did it go? Make sure you leave some comments below. Please like, subscribe, and share the video if you thought it was good. And until next time, on to the next.